and we can get a pretty good idea of how old you are. And that lets us ensure that the product is only available to our users who are 13 and over. And when we talk about more authentic conversations, what we mean by that is unfiltered chat, text chat, and unfiltered voice communication in our party system. Seeking out adults. If you said that you were 12 or you said you were 7, they would just move on. But if you said that you were 25, then they would start engaging in conversations, and they would try and use those conversations to simulate.
Matt, is this anecdotal? Because I know we have chat logs for all chat on Roblox and historical records. Are you able to kind of take a look at this stuff?
Yeah, so unlike other social media and communications platforms, we don't encrypt anything, and we have systems that are monitoring for this type of behavior. So we saw these actors, they're pretending to be kids, they're trying to find adults, and then what they're doing is they're trying to move the conversation as quickly as possible to other platforms. Popular people on the community who end up being targets of this type of activity.
I think one could say the target would be imagining a family member, either 16-year-old or 22-year-old, who's on our platform, who maybe meets someone that seems too good to be true or too interested to be true. And, let's go chat somewhere else where we're not filtered and we can share pictures. And I think we have to think, be very thankful for everyone who participates in reporting bad actors, but we do have to think about what you would call those targets as well.
Yeah, we want to be really conscientious about the victims of these cases and make sure that their information is not shared. And also, we don't want to jump to conclusions before we have all the information. And one of the things I think we've seen is people being doxxed or swatted. And that is not acceptable either, right? Like, we want to let law enforcement do their job and do their investigation, and pursue where there are true bad actors. But we don't want to let the internet mob sort of pile on folks before that investigation has quickly. Easier to do that kind of scamming and blackmailing at scale, and that can be really scary for families. But again, to Matt's point, because we have mostly filtered communication on the platform, except in the context of trusted connections, we don't allow image participation. Yeah, this is gonna be live when this goes live. Community or in the United States or the world. That families might have very different opinions on, or might this, and we're very thoughtful. Can you share a bit more about the vision here? Sure, yeah. This launch was really about giving parents more visibility and more choice into the things that our youngest users are engaging with on the platform. And one of the things we know about our community is, we have a global UGC community of creators that, as you said, are just explosively creative. But what that means is that for super sensitive topics that families might have very different opinions on, or might want to approach with their kids in very sensitive ways, we just can't guarantee that stuff is handled in a developmentally appropriate way on the platform. And so we're giving parents the choice to either enable access to games that are primarily themed on those. We're super aggressive with PII sharing and what we call directing users off platform, because again, we want to keep people in safe chat scenarios and not push them to platforms where those kinds of scams and cases can happen.
And highlighting that everyone in this area is trying to do
Policy violations.
you can share pictures.
Trends that they're seeing on the platform, they're closest to it. And so ingesting that intel in a way that is really useful for our internal teams is something that we're working on spinning up. So stay tuned for more information on that as well.
There's always more that we can do. And one of the things that we've been thinking about
in what we're calling bad scenes detection, so that we can actually moderate in the moment those servers and take them down if users are behaving badly. And we also occasionally, if we find that there's a real preponderance of bad behavior in a game, we will reach out to the developer and work with them to make updates to the design of that game that we think will mitigate that harm. So we always want to work with our developers and get the game taken down. So we don't want to open up that abuse factor. We want to be fair. But that being said, we understand that there are games that people feel like users are behaving badly in. So we're doing a few things. One is we're investing in what we're calling bad scenes detection.
Should that be down? Like, what's up?
Yeah, I think one thing that's really challenging on this global immersive interactive platform Can you share, like, why should that be up? Should that be down? Like, what's up? Yeah, I think one thing that's really challenging on this global